should be better now.
उपजन्ति निर्णय कम्मिनो सक्कम सुगतिनो यन्ति परिनिब्बान्ति अनासवा.
So three statements being made. Four in fact. Garbham eke upajjanti. Garbham is garbh, eke means one. Some people are born in the womb. Niriyam papakam mino. Nira means niralo, the hell. Those who are doing evil actions, they are born in the hell. Saggam sugatino yanti. Saggam means swarg, heaven. Sugatino yanti means jate hain. Those who do righteous deeds, they go to the heaven. Parinibbanti anasava. Anasava means those who have completely done away with all taints, so they become emancipated. They no longer remain in any of the realms of existence. So this is the 11th verse of chapter 9. There is an interesting story associated with that. You've seen it, about a gem polisher who used to give food to a monk who used to visit his home every day. And once while he was doing that, a king's messenger came and gave him a gem. And they were He was carrying a piece of meat at that time, so the blood covered, the gem got covered with the blood. So when he had a pet bird, and the pet bird saw the gem covered with blood, he thought it is some meat, and he took it up. And after the food had been given to the monk, then the gem polishers realized that the gem is missing, and it is king's gem, so it will create problems for him. So he thought there is nobody here, so this monk must have taken it. So he tried to ask him, then when he didn't agree, he said, "No, I have not taken it." He thought he was lying, so he beat him up and tortured him. He was almost bleeding and virtually on the verge of death. So the person, when he started bleeding all over, the bird came and started taking that, sucking that blood again. So the gem polisher was angry and he hit the bird strongly, so the bird died. And once the bird died, then the monk told that the gem has been taken by the bird. So then the polisher cut the bird and found the gem. Then he realized his mistake, but it was a bit too late. The monk died, and then the gem polisher later on was reborn in the hand. While his wife, who had spoken against the beating of the monk, she was later on born in the heaven. So that is the story associated with that, mentioning about the consequences of deeds of the people.
न अंत लिखे न समुझ मझे न पत्तानाम विवरम भविष्य न विज्जति सो जगतिप देशो यत्र टिट्तो मुच्चे पाप कम्मा.
These are all three are associated with that. That if you do evil actions, it will lead to evil consequences. The antalikhe means antaliksh. Antaliksh means the sky. Na samudra madhya. Samudra means the ocean. Madhya means middle. Na pabbatanam. Pabbat means the mountain. Vivaram means the cleft or the openings in the mountain which are there. Pavissa means entered. So neither in the sky nor in the middle of the ocean nor in any cleft or opening in the mountains. Navijjati so jagatapadesu. Navijjati does not exist. Jagatapadesu. In this jagat, in this world, such a pradesh, such a place does not exist. Wherever you go, where yathati chittho, where you, if you will sit there, mucche papa kamma, so that you can be free from the evil actions. There is no place in the world where you can run away and hope that evil actions will not follow you there. So that is the story associated with it. And there are three instances which are related to this verse. They said that the three groups of monks were travelling to see the Buddha, and on their way they came to see three very strange things. So then they recited, told this to Buddha, and Buddha tried to explain to them why it had happened. So the first story was that they stayed in a village on their way, and the people were cooking the meal, and while the fire was going up, they suddenly found that a crow is coming up, and he got burned in that fire and fell down. Then when they told the Buddha this, Buddha mentioned about the past story associated with this, about a farmer who had a lazy ox, and he would not do much work. So farmer got angry and he tied the ox to a rope and set fire to it, and the ox died. And he said because of that, the farmer was reborn as a crow, and he died in that particular manner in which he killed the ox. And there is a second story about that they were crossing the boat, and in the middle of the ocean the ship was just not moved. So they had that belief that some person is unlucky and we should not, because of that the boat is not moving. So they draw the lots, and out of the lots every time captain's wife, lots are falling off. So they tied a pot of sand to her and put her in the ocean. So whatever you may think about this story. And the ship then moved on safely to the port. and then the monks told this story. Those monks who had gone there. So he mentioned that in one past life the woman had a pet dog, and he used to follow her everywhere, and she was getting embarrassed because of that. So one day she tied a pot of sand around the dog and immersed him into the river. And because of that, exactly same thing happened to her. And there is a third story about the third group of monks who went and they stayed in a cave overnight. And suddenly, in the middle of the night, a big rock came and closed the opening of the mountain. So the people discovered in the morning, and then they tried to move the rock, but the rock would just not move. So only after 7 days the rock could be moved and the monks were free. So the Buddha then told them that these people, these 7 monks in the past life, 7 cowherds who had chased an animal into a cave and for fun just closed the entrance of that and removed it only after 7 days. Same thing befell them in this life. And then Buddha recited this verse saying that whatever you may do, you can't escape the consequences of evil action. You can't hide anywhere.
So there is a comment here from Sudhakar, from Silesh. He's saying the verse 12 is karma is so mechanical, that is, there is no hope for redemption ever.
Not really. It's not like that, because these persons probably didn't do the necessary things to get out of that redemption. It's not a fatalistic thing. If you do accordingly strong actions which are positive, the effect of negative actions can be mitigated. It won't get completely erased, but mitigated to a great extent. So there are many instances of that kind also. But some actions are certainly very strong. Killing a person, or killing a very enlightened person, or a person who is on the path of Dhamma, or killing your parents, or trying to kill a Buddha. These are some of the actions of which consequences you can't escape, whatever you may do. There is the story of the great disciple of Buddha, Mahamoggallana. He had killed in some past life, he had killed his parents at the kind of prompting of his wife. The old parents were becoming a drag on him, and he poisoned them. And the evil action of that was so strong that even though he became the chief disciple of Buddha, in that very life he was himself killed by the robbers. Repeatedly, not once, repeatedly killed. In the sense that he had strong psychic powers. He got killed and got again, got killed and became again. It happened so many times, and then he meditated and realized the fruit of that action, and then he let go. He went to the Buddha, and in front of him passed. So an action like killing of your parents is absolutely unpardonable. There you have to go through the consequences, whatever they happen. But other kind of actions, their effects get mitigated. So it's not exactly deterministic.
And does it not also then have to do with volition? So here's an extreme example, that the parents are in deep suffering and you use euthanasia for example. अब उसमें volition तो वैसी है, in that it's a kind volition. तो इसका बताइए जरा volition.
That will have a different effect. But the killing of a person should be with the consent of the person. That's very important.
So fair enough.
So if a person is saying so and you do it, it's fine. I think I should think that it shouldn't be a problem, because there are examples of there were in the beginning of the Sangha, there were examples of monks committing suicide, and they were arahants, and they committed suicide because they realized ये लोग सब बेचारे परेशान हो रहे हैं, हम किसी सेवा से and then of course Buddha came to know, and he thought that for them it was okay, but everybody will start doing it. So then he prohibited people from taking their own life. So obviously volition matters. Because it is the volition which is the karma, not the physical action.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Is it so much the action of killing versus the...
Karma is chetana. Chetana hai vadami karma. Very clear description of it. It is the volition which becomes the karma, not the physical act.
न अन्तनिखेन समुद्रमध्ये न पक्वतानं विवरं भविष्य न विद्यति सो जगति प्रदेशो यत्तच्छितं नप्पसहेयमच्युतम्.
Exactly similar, only one difference. That neither in the sky nor in the middle of the ocean or by entering into any cleft of a mountain, there is no place in the world where yattatittati, where standing where nappasahe machu, where the death will not find you, where the death will not overcome you. So you can't run away from death by getting out from here or there and trying to think that you can do something about it. And the story is, of course, very moving story. It's briefly put here. Elsewhere it is given in a greater detail. The story about Buddha's father-in-law. So when the Buddha came back to his Kapilvatthu, his father-in-law was of course very much angry at him because he had left his daughter, and then his cousin, the son of his Devadatta, was his kind of an adversary, if not an enemy. So Supabuddha was, therefore Supabuddha was the name of that person, who was very angry with him. So when Buddha came for armed food, he stopped and blocked him in the way. He didn't allow him to go further. So Buddha went back. And then, as was the wont, Ananda asked him, he has done a very grave wrong act of stopping you from going for alms food and you will be going without food. So what is the consequence of that? So he told him that after 7 days, Buddha is going to die, and die in a very difficult situation, that he will come out down from his palace, and as he is walking down from his palace from the 3 stairs, the moment he touches the earth will tear apart, break open, and he will get into that deep, will be absorbed into the earth, eaten up by the earth. So Supabuddha sends a messenger behind him to know that what is going to happen to me, and he knows that this is going to happen to him. So he tears off the 3 stairs and takes it. I will do everything not to get out of it. And as luck would have it, on that very particular day, at the end of the 7th days, his horses in the stable, they cried after a shriek at the middle of the night, and he just forgets because he is very attached to the horses. Comes out of his palace, the stairs are again there, he walks down the stairs and gets into the depth of the hell, as they say. So Buddha then remarks that there is no way that you can escape death. So that is the end of the Papa Vaka, the section on evils. Yes, Deepak, your turn. All you.